Welcome to a new episode of Same Ocean, Different Beach. This is episode 4, and I am here having the pleasure to be able to talk to my dear and good friend, the great Jaems Gusse, everyone.
Hello. What an introduction.
I try to pride myself on good introductions, and with someone of your caliber and talent, you need a grand introduction.
Oh my God.
In my opinion.
You know what's funny is I don't have corona. Coughing. Sorry. It's funny, since I quit smoking cigarettes, I've been...
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Well, it's like, congratulate me when the nicotine intake is completely done away with, because I am vaporizing, and they say it's better for you, but that is a fucking lie. It's bullshit, because my lungs still do not feel as they should, but I am coughing up a lot of, like, nasty shit from the cigarette, so. But I was gonna say, Kava Bar, before all, hell broke loose, and when it was still open, when we would I'd randomly walk in there, and it would be the group of you and Leandro and Monique and Tyler and Nico, Nikki, and whoever the fuck else, Todd, Uncle Todd, Rick.
Just start clapping.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, it felt great, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, I feel like I need to do something now.
I remember one time, it's funny that you mentioned that. So I remember one time that I was on the phone with you, and I can't remember what was happening over at my house or something, but you went to the kava bar to pick up some kava beforehand. It could have been D&D.
Okay.
And Todd was there, and you're like, he's all like, oh, are you talking to your mommy on the phone? And you're like, no, I'm not talking to, like, my mother or something like that. And I was like, James, don't forget to pick up milk.
Yeah, I remember. I think that was when it was, like, the kava bar had shut down, but it was still, like, lingering with, the crew, the working crew was still there hanging out.
Yes.
The owner.
They were in the middle of cleaning, doing their deep clean, I believe, and getting ready for, like, that 10-person and under thing.
Yeah, trying to. It was before they shut down completely. Remember, they put the sign up pretty quickly saying that they were going to reopen on 4/20. And I was like, well, cheers to, positive outlook.
Yeah. I mean, trying to just make the most of it. Like I said, people, this is Hawaii. People forget things. I forgot to close the door for silent purposes. So that's what's happening.
We are also in the jungle, surrounded by a shit ton of nature. So there's all that happening.
There's horny cats that go off and chainsaws from the neighbors.
And roosters and coqui frogs.
Oh, yeah. There was some when me and Nick, I think, in the last podcast, there were coqui frogs. But, no, I agree.
Fuck.
Like, cheers. Did you get some ash in your kava?
I ashed in my kava.
Oh.
It's okay. It's good. I can drink it.
It's okay. It's just, good ash, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not, exactly. It's good ash. Good ash.
God, my brain's going on so many tangents right now. I'm trying to keep that train of thought, but it's so funny that you mentioned good ash, and obviously it sounds like good ass, because it brings me back to when me and Leandro used to go surfing, and he always used to compliment about his ass in a wetsuit. It was the funniest thing. Every time he's like, damn, my ass looks good. Like, every time he got in a wetsuit.
Well, if you think about it, a wetsuit is
it makes your skin tight.
Well, skin tight, but it's also technically like a form of padding, like rubber padding, right? Which is what the dry cleans and other people, whoever wants to accentuate their curves. I just personally happen to know a lot of dry cleans that introduced me to, padding, and there's a variety, everything from old couch cushions to Tempur-Pedic pillows to, you can buy stuff, foam, like, all kinds of...
That's so interesting.
Yeah, but it's funny because, wetsuit, it's like you get an automatic kind of butt lift, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you get a little thick, like adding a little layer of thickness to it.
And this was This was Southern California, but like I even say Central California because we were above, like 60 miles above LA.
Okay.
So like the water's not freezing cold, but man, if you're going in the winter when it is, I mean, so we had like 7.6, like thick, or like I think it was like 4.3s, like thick millimeter wetsuit. So yeah, no, you had a good pad. But you mentioned something just now, knowing drag queens and being a part of that community. Could you please elaborate? I want to hear more about this. I don't think I know I've seen you.
Yeah.
In your in drag.
In my drag.
There you go. I was trying to find the right words to say,
good.
but yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's.
I've seen you in drag.
In drag.
I've never seen you perform, unfortunately. Because I think the night that I saw you and I knew you performing, we had Maka and we couldn't.
Yeah,
do
bring
it,
the dog
but
to the drag show because dogs.
They're
sniffing
good.
Things out, ladies.
Oh yeah, but can you please elaborate more on that? Like how you got into it? Is it something you've always?
So, I'd say I got into it. My introduction to drag was through television initially, through movie. I think Tu Wong Fu was the first time I ever saw a form of
Tu Wong Fu
drag. Yeah, Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar is the entire title of the movie, and it is a star-studded cast. We have, oh my god, and of course now I'm just gonna start blanking on names of people. He died and he's hot. And Patrick Swayze. Oh my god. Patrick Swayze is the lead, and then Blade Runner. What is the actor, the big black dude?
I've never seen Blade Runner.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyway,
is it the same guy from Blade?
Yeah.
The vampire movies?
No. No.
Never mind then.
Fuck. Anyway.
It's okay.
Anyway, my references might be, messed up at the moment because we're recording things. But let me tell you, it's an amazing. No, and it was also a very long time ago that I saw this movie. But nonetheless, when the introduction is they are getting ready, right? They're putting on their makeup and they're getting ready for the show, and they are manly men. They are sexy manly men, but they are doing like the whole, everything, the full transformation of makeup and accentuating parts of your body and creating, just a whole performance and an essence and a persona that is bigger than life and, a stage performer, somebody who is meant to be in the spotlight and grab everybody's attention and fully express themselves. That is a lot of what drag is. I have come to find out throughout the years. Back then, I didn't have any involvement with it other than watching it, and I watched it, without permission because I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, right? And I was in that until I got excommunicated, disfellowshipped when I was 17. And that's when I was able to start exploring anything that had to do with,
anything, really.
I mean, anything at all. Yeah, that's a whole nother subject. We can go there later if you want. But
I love talking about cults because
they're so fun, so entertaining. Love the cults,
and they come in all different shapes and forms. It's like ladies and
it's like
gentlemen.
Gucci, Versace, Prada.
And let me tell you,
fashion.
If you're like, well, I go to a church and it's not a cult. Nope, it's still a cult.
Yeah.
If you have a doctrine, it's a cult. And if someone wants to come on here and debate that,
and there's different levels of cults.
Yeah.
I mean,
some are good cults.
I'll say that there's different levels, and there's some things that don't quite qualify as cults. Not every I'd say not every religion. Probably almost every organized religion is a form of a cult.
That's what I said.
But I wouldn't. I'm bad about blanket statements. But speaking of blanket statements, anything I say going about drag queens and drag performers and female impersonators and the whole. I myself am a very queer man, if you didn't know. And, yeah, really, you didn't. But I just don't want anything I said, nothing is a blanket statement, because there are so many different spectrums and different realms, so just from my personal experience. Yeah. And anyway, so I got involved in drag when I was taken to LA. So I grew up in the Bay Area. Okay. I used to go out in the Castro when I was, but a boy, 18 years old, going to the 18 and up clubs, and then making my way into, I just had a way of, I don't know, talking to people that were making the things happen. And I was drawn to that because I wanted to make things happen. I have always been creative, expressive, and so I was drawn to like the performers and the artists, and of course drag queens. So I saw a show in San Francisco with my best friend Mia. We saw Drag Queens of Comedy, which had Sasha Soprano put it on, and then had Alaska Thunderfuck and a couple other queens. And I'm sorry, I'm like once again. That had to
be a great.
It was amazing, and then it was like Bianca Del Rio won RuPaul's, and I got to go to the celebration after party. What was that place upstairs?
Is Blanca Del Rio, is that from the movie Blanca?
No, Bianca.
Bianca
Del Rio.
Sorry if I offended anyone by mispronouncing that name.
No, Miss Bianca Del Rio was a winner of season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race. And I mean, like, I'm not even, honestly, I know a lot of the queens from RuPaul's because I've met them and I've worked with them, but I haven't watched all the seasons. I've watched a couple of them. And obviously I've been a supporter of all the shows and working with everybody, but anyway, so then I moved to LA. I got dressed up one night. I decided I wanted to take myself out. Funny enough, I was actually sober at the time.
Okay.
At that time, which was years ago, because that was like my first stint at me trying to be sober. So I ended up being sober for like 5 months, but amidst that, decided to get dressed up and go out and just have fun by myself. So I put on a pair of high heels that I bought at Payless. I put on a Armani suit that I had left over from my church days. I put on some suspenders and some dark lipstick and eyeliner, and spiked my hair up and painted my nails, I think, and no shirt. And that was my look. And then went to the Abbey in West Hollywood and just walking around sipping on my soda water, and a drag queen comes up to me and is like, come with me, come hang out they want you to come hang out in the booth with us. And so they invited me to their booth, and it was the people running the fucking show, and they had just started this brand new night, Ash Wednesday, and I became a part of that thing. They just said come back every week and put on a look, and then that turned into doing more and more work and starting my own nights and doing other things and working with other companies and other people and all kinds of stuff, celebrities, booking artists, pop stars. I mean, it was fucking wild.
And this is you at like 18, 19 years old.
No, so the first experiences were in in the Castro, and I started to kind of I got a VIP card given to me from one of the gay clubs, like when I was 18, it was an 18 and up
you were
club.
shorting your stuff.
Just like whatever, but it was just, and I wasn't even really trying to do anything at the time, but I was just out there having fun.
Yeah.
And then and then I don't know, that didn't really go anywhere other than just making some friends and starting to explore my expression, my self-expression. Yeah, and then, eventually, of course, I loved getting dressed up. It was just fun, but then I tried doing drag, like full-on drag, because I was hanging out with a bunch of drag queens that said you should do drag, you should...
So how old are you around that time?
That time, the first time I think I ever did, like, drag, I think was Halloween of, like, full drag out in public.
That's a good night.
was Halloween, in West Hollywood. And I want to say I was 21, so we're talking 6 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, whatever that would be.
So you're 21. That's your first time kind of really dressing up.
Yeah, and it was
not your first time dressing up like in drag, because you mentioned you had done that earlier, but more of like for the purpose of dressing up, kind of in drag versus just doing it as like a.
But that was also Halloween.
Yeah.
Sorry, may I?
Yeah.
That was also Halloween, and that was a little bit of a different story because it was kind of like a one-time deal. When I went to the Abbey, I started doing these looks, so I was doing kind of like different look each week, and it was cataloged all over my Instagram, right? Mm-hmm. Plug at Jaems Gusse, Jaems, Jaems.
Yeah, and you're gonna want to check out that Instagram, people. It's a good follow.
It's some weird shit, is what it is. But anyway,
the best kind of shit.
No, but each week, so progressively, like the looks were changing and becoming different because I had to be creative. I didn't have much stuff. Ding ding, the bell. It's ready. Come get it. I got a song playing in my head.
So like, when did you start getting really heavily, I guess you could say, into it? When you started like putting on your own shows, being introduced to pop stars?
It was like
23,
I
24.
guess like, what, 3 years? 20.
So like,
yeah, like I'd say 24.
And then like, how long did that go on till?
I mean, what, like 2.5, 3 years in total? I did it. So at the Abbey to then doing the RuPaul's Drag Race or Drag Queen brunch with Voss Events and being a stage manager for that. To then what else? We started Make Out Mondays. Then it was just like a bunch of stuff, and then eventually I asked one of the bars I was a regular at that didn't have a night. I was like, hey, what do you think about me doing a night here? Like Tension Tuesdays, presented by, Jaems Gusse Presents. And it was my first thing on my own, and Rhea Latre, who I was working really closely with at the time, she was basically like boss lady, and a lot of my inspiration just into, the work ethic of drag and being your own fucking boss, right? Mm-hmm. She came and supported it, and it was beautiful. Is that a first? No?
That is a first. First spilt kava on the phone.
Spilt kava on the phone. You know what, though? This is going to just make for a very interesting...
Oh, well, let's see what happens.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, but... things eventually got out of control a little bit with that whole situation. So, and I mean, let's be honest, I got out of control, and it's a very hard kind of place and hard environment to keep your, cool in.
Well, no, and that's kind of why I was asking about the age, because I can't imagine I'm 25 now, so I mean, I don't have a wealth of obviously knowledge or experience.
Oh, you have plenty.
But,
I'm sorry. Just keep falling all over me.
But it's one of those things where I can't imagine, like, I did production, I did some small events, but nowhere to where, like, I was, like, actually meeting people or anything big. And, I can't imagine what it's like to try and even remain in control. Like, it has to be so hard. I mean, you're in a party place, you're in West Hollywood, that's like happenings of happenings, especially around that time. Yeah. Because this is a couple years back, this isn't, 2020. Yeah.
Well, it was, it's crazy, is it's not an uncommon story of, I mean, you hear the story all the time because it's fucking Hollywood, so the story gets told. And that is like the center of where those stories get told and produced, right? From the mass viewing. But people come there with a dream, or come there to find themselves, or come there to find their dream, or whatever, or make something of themselves, or try to make something of themselves. I mean, I grew up in California. I grew up in Marin in Sonoma County, and even though those are pretty affluent-ish places, they they have affluence, they have poverty. We were, I'd say, in middle class, so I got to experience a little bit of both sides through different experiences with my parents. Dad got divorced.
Yeah.
All the craziness with that, blah. But anyway, back to the subject of, being there in Hollywood. For me, it was like, I was fresh. Yeah, I was really fresh in certain ways.
Yeah.
Because I had no real life experience up until I was 18 because of my upbringing. And so it was like when I started going, I kind of wanted to go and experience everything, and that story has, there's a lot of people, Mormons, Catholics.
Oh, no, it's not an uncommon thing that gets told. It's the reason why people lose, like the Amish population sometimes has huge dips, is because they actually have a ritual where they have them go out for, I think, like a night or like a week or 3 days or whatever
to go experience the world. I've heard about that. I wish that they would. I wish that would have been a thing, because I probably would have figured it out a lot sooner. I knew, I just didn't know, I knew that something was not right with me and the upbringing, with me and the Jehovah's Witness, beliefs, teachings, so on. A lot of the stuff I do agree with on their, ways on how to treat people, essentially, and like what kind of like the
what it is
essence,
on paper.
Well, yeah, and the essences of certain things, right? Which is the essence of the Bible, the essence of a lot of the great spiritual books that have been taken and twisted and so on and so forth, you know? But anyway, I lost my train of thought right there.
No, but just to elaborate what you're talking about the how it gets twisted and manipulated. It's like the word God now. You know what I mean? Which is like, if you refer to the term God, people automatically, you assume you're one of the Christian denominations. That includes Catholic people, because Catholicism is a form of Christianity. They're not two separate things. Just want to clear that, because if you believe that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, you're a Christian. And, or like Judas, or like a Jewish, or, Muslim, or, something else. Whereas you could just be someone that just refers to God as in the eternal energy that exists throughout all of life and humanity. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always necessarily a dude with whatever you want to make him up to be up there on a cloud in a robe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so, and that's a whole nother...
Oh, a whole nother topic, yeah.
No, but it's all tied into this kind of... Sorry, went off to go grab
you're fine.
My nicotine. Quit smoking, but like I said, I'm still vaporizing, and it's something that I really want to stop, because I sing. And
you eventually will.
So that's, I think, kind of tying it back to this whole journey, right? So, left home, I had a loss of God at the time, because I was kicked out of my from birth. I was taught these things, and I had this belief of like what God is and how my relationship with God, so on. And because I was kicked out and excommunicated, let me tell you, I felt I didn't have nothing. I didn't have no one. No, I did actually. I did, thank goodness, have a support. I had a family, and that family was not my biological family. Well, at first, I had a music family, a family of people that I had done some stuff with. So my mom, lucky for me, let me do some extracurricular musical things, right? Outside of school and whatever, because I was a troubled youth, and it made things better because I got to express myself and be myself a little bit, right? So
There you go.
I performed with the same group, etc., over the years, right? And built relationships with these. We're growing up, doing these shows, and it's a lot of rehearsals and a lot of, stress and a lot of love.
Get to know people.
You really do, especially if you do multiple shows at that age, right?
Yeah.
So when I get kicked out, like, that's the people who, and this is in Sonoma, right? This is happening, small town kind of vibes. Those are the people who helped me out and, like, took me in and gave me, like, helped get me on my feet.
Yeah.
And that pursuit of music, because I've always had that love. The wind chimes go off. It's right. Perfect timing. I've always had that love of music, and not just a love of music, but hearing it, singing it, being a part of what that language is, and for me it was always a safe way of being able to express and communicate feelings with people and help people feel things, and it's just like so massively beautiful in a certain way that I could never give that up. I could also never give up the fact that I love cock. Sorry, I just had to throw that in.
No, I love it.
I'm addicted to what the dick did.
Yeah. I think, no joke, I think of that phrase that will pop into my head at least once a fucking day.
See, I told
just
you.
Like a little rhyme of like, because I think I saw the post where like you posted that
when
back
I was
in like
16.
Yeah, and
it was before I even got kicked out of the fucking religion.
That's exactly what I think of. I think of like a 16-year-old James just walking around just being like, I'm addicted to what the dick did. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And I think like I had maybe like kissed a boy at that point.
So you kissed a boy and you liked it.
I kissed a boy and I liked it. Taste of his cherry chapstick. Why the fuck are you wearing cherry chapstick?
But
ew, cherry is just the worst flavor. Like, I don't know. Artificial cherry is not my thing. Let it be known. Sorry, out of all the things, I've gone better with it, but still, it just reminds me of like cough syrup. I don't know.
But medicine. One thing that I thought what you said, and one thing that really came to mind is first seeing you play before I even got to know you at La Hikiola, and one thing I thought to myself was, this is someone who performs not just for himself, because he can feel that he's really communicating with people on a much deeper level than what you normally can sometimes get across, and you can do it without words. I have a cousin, Sean, who sometimes stumbles around with words and whatnot, and that's one thing he loves about playing music, is that there's no words, there's no social, there's probably some social anxiety, but there's no,
it's freeing, it really is. Music is something that, from people to animals, to plants, to, it's the vibration, the frequency. It's something that surrounds all of us all the time, right? And it's a manipulation of that in a way that it's so specific, right? Just even us talking is something, but like when we talk, the words that are attached to it, sometimes it's the transcendence beyond words. Like, you can listen to a song. I've listened to songs. I'm like, that's my favorite song, and I don't know the fucking lyrics.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a musician like me thing. Just like I'm weird, but like I have listened to and had so many songs that I love and listen to and jam out, over and over again, and I can't remember lyrics because it's just the feeling of the song that I kind of remember, right? And so I was drawn to that, even in the days of me being a Jehovah's Witness. We did get to sing that was like my favorite part of the whole thing, is that we got to sing and everybody sang. It wasn't just like a choir, everybody sang. It was just like one platform, everyone is on one level essentially in their church kingdom halls. That's just how they're built normally, unless it's like a big assembly thing, and then they build them like sloping down like a amphitheater or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like how my church was. It was like flat, and there were steps up, where like
there was like a platform, like speaker or a speaker platform, right? So it was like at the very back of the building, you step up and then step up, and it's just a stage that goes. That's the entire rest of the back, right?
Oh wow!
And then in front of that, I mean, it's only a couple feet deep, and then it's just rows of seats, very straightforward.
Yeah, very like basic, bare essentials.
But yeah, we got to sing. So anyway, singing. Some, my dad's old girlfriend bought me a karaoke machine. I started doing that stuff. I wrote my first song when I was like 5 years old.
Wow.
For this girl, Yuliana Zirianov. I hope I'm still Zirianov. Is that right? Zirianov. It's Russian.
Yeah, I was like,
she is
Russian.
She is Russian. Yeah, she's like we met in first grade. And she was my sweetheart from first grade till like third, fourth grade, and then kind of in fifth grade, another man entered into our lives. When I say our lives, it was because I probably thought about him way more than she did. Not for those reasons. Yeah. Just in the sense that he took my woman. No, it's okay, Jose. I forgive you. But I wrote a song for her in fucking first grade.
It's so funny that you mentioned that. Just thinking about all the things that you do when you're just that age. I remember liking a girl.
Crazy.
I remember liking a girl so much, and I'll even put this out there because I am not ashamed of it. Because I was like maybe like 7 or 8 at the time, where you don't know anything. You don't even know that you're. You can't even grasp the concept that you're on a rock in space.
Right.
I really liked a girl. And I was like...
You kissed a girl?
I kissed her, and then I said that if you tell anyone, I'll kick you in the face.
Oh my...
Because girls were still ugly back then.
Why would you...
I'm also ADHD.
Wait, you're telling me that you threatened to kick a girl in the face because she was ugly?
No. Because back then you're 8, so girls are yucky.
I see.
So I didn't want any of the guys to know. And I'm also ADHD and like extremely impulsive.
So funny enough, it was like I kind of always.
By the way, I'm sorry, I cannot remember that person's name. I wish I could, but I apologize, and I definitely did get in trouble for it, and it's still something that my mom likes to bring up to people to this day. So don't think that I don't hear the end of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, those were the times. I could tell you about all of the drama I remember from my god, dude!
Days. It was bad.
There was so much. There was so much.
I was in the principal's office at least once a week, and he couldn't make me cry.
They took me out of class once a day literally once a day because I was such a troublemaker in class that they had to take me out and have me in counseling once a day doing art. And I think this was before, even prior to my parents' divorce. So like this was even.
Well, this is just. I'm sorry, but.
I was riding around on the teacher's rolly chair, right? She's, reading to the class. They're sitting on the carpet, right? Everyone's in the circle being, well-behaved. And she's literally given up. Melanie Gutierrez, I am so sorry. She has given up on, trying to control me. And I am, on my knees on the chair, right? Kicking it and just, going, wee! And she's telling everybody to ignore me. Ignore him because if you don't pay attention to him, he'll stop.
It's not gonna make you stop. You're having a blast.
I know. If you ignore kittens, do they stop playing?
No, they do not.
Yeah, I know. We have 4 kittens right now. We'll go into kittens. But yeah, I don't want to give up on the music thing because it is music is basically the theme throughout my life in a lot of ways because it carried me through things. It's motivated me to do things. My moving to LA essentially was in the pursuit of music.
Yeah.
I wanted to figure out how to share my voice with, more people.
Yeah.
Because I loved performing and I performed any chance I got, and that's how I became a performer just because
No, you see an opportunity, you take.
I
the
wanted to
opportunity.
do it, you know, and I learned the hard way, you know. I got a lot of shit. I'm one of 5, you know. I had
Yeah.
3 older brothers and a younger sister, and honestly, I think the younger sister was probably the most ruthless out of all of them. Kai. But she's also a singer, so you know, there's that competition.
Makes total sense to me. I grew up with 2 cousins in the house for a stint of maybe 3 years, and let me tell you, anyone that says my mom is thankful to this day that she has had one child, and it's a boy, because she could not imagine just all the stuff that you got to go through with girls. They're so much more ruthless than boys.
Yeah.
Boys are direct ruthless. Girls, they miss. Especially when they're like 13, 14
I'm
age.
like, Kai is a whole nother story, but you know what? I love her to death. She is my, she is my rock of a you know, sibling in certain ways, even though we've been through so much shit with each other. We've always come back together.
That's good.
And
that's awesome.
Throughout the years, you know, and that's, if anyone's been like the closest to me, it's been her, and yeah, so.
No,
and
definitely.
Music has been something between us too.
That you guys can bond with.
I mean, bond with and fight over and everything else, you know, but part of fighting is bonding, right? And in certain ways, there is a sort of healthiness to certain fights.
Yes.
Not pointless, you know, continuous, blah, blah, blah kind.
And it also depends on what you determine as a fight nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, that's so subjective nowadays.
Yeah, well, I mean...
like, me and Leandro will, like, yell at each other like we're fighting or something like that, like, in D&D, but it's just us just joking around being pals, you know what I mean? And so I think I don't have any siblings. He's the closest thing I have to a brother, but I can imagine it's pretty much the similar
he is.
thing.
No, he is your brother. Like, fuck that. He's your hermana. You would be heartbroken with him.
No, I absolutely would.
No, it's part of the thing that I've learned, you know, is like how much blood really matters through all of my experiences with the family and the disintegration of things because of religion, because my mom stayed in it, right? She got remarried, stepdad's in it. One of my older brothers, went back into it. And so on, you know. It's just family are the people who are there for you, the people who accept you for who you are, the best version of yourself, wanting that for you, and you know, hopefully adding to your life in some way, you know, and vice versa, of course, you know, it's
my mom always put it as like, it's like a, and this is, you know, her love for me, but I like to think it goes for just family and people in general, is like an unconditional love for that person, and like you said, like a wanting to be better, and like, you know, maybe when they slip up, like, you're sad, you know, you can be disappointed and still love someone a lot, but you're always still there for them no matter what. No matter what the slip ups, no matter what the situation, it's that unconditional love that you
and that's
have for that individual. And you can have that without blood.
Yeah, well, it's like I've gotten to, I mean, fuck, I've gotten to see all the different kind of sides of it, you know, and had the growing pains of what loving someone and them not accepting you for who you are, or not looking out for your best interest, you know, what that can do to you and how detrimental it can be. And now I have a whole fucking new chapter, right? So I went through all that stuff with the, you know, pursuing a career in music and the limelight of Los Angeles, and I, you know, essentially did a lot of things that I never thought that I would do. The stories that I can tell of, like, you know, whatever, basically it's like it became my life. It did. It really became like I felt like I was in that, I was so involved in that scene that it was my normal. It was my expected. Even though even though I was sleeping on a futon, you know, and like fucking never had much of anything at all to my name, you know, and lived as a fucking trashy alcoholic behind closed doors, and then a somewhat functioning alcoholic, functioning enough in this environment, this scene that I was in, right, where I was being paid to do such things, like to party. I was able to get away with that for a while, but you know, I wasn't able to ever really grasp what I wanted to with music, which was part. I was accepting it as for what it is, for what the part of it of myself that music has been. It wasn't getting. I didn't want. You know, I never wanted to get caught up in the limelight of it all. I didn't want to be in the scene, and I fought it too constantly within myself. I tried to pursue things wholeheartedly, but at the same time, I was a fucking alcoholic, so I didn't know what the fuck I was doing most of the time anyway, because I was blitzed off my ass. So my intentions were always blurred, and what I allowed as okay in the pursuit of whatever, you know. I got turned around and messed up, and I knew I needed to get out of there because I was gonna die. You know, I was heading down a very dark path, and I essentially sabotaged. I self-sabotaged within 1 week. I lost my gigs. I got banned from both of the clubs that I had been working in for like over 2 years or something, a year and a half, 2 years. Lost other gigs. I mean, yeah, all kinds of stuff. My living situation falling apart. My roommates not having wanting anything to do with me, and that took a lot. You know, all my friends not wanting to really have much to do with me. I mean, there was still, you know, a handful of my close friends that obviously never left my side, but there was a lot of people who I hurt, and I needed to heal. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and then I came out here to Hawaii.
And how long ago was that?
That was November 28th of 2018.
Okay. So you're coming up on 2 years.
Yeah.
In November.
Yep.
Okay. And then did, if you don't mind me asking anyway, since we're on this topic, did those behaviors then start to change? Because I know, especially because I've been blessed with not having any of the harder issues, you know what I mean, or anything like that, in terms of addiction, but like I've known people throughout my life that have, and I know one of the hardest things with it, especially if you don't do a drastic move like you do from LA,
geographical
is cutting off your friend ties.
Well,
so did that kind of help you kind of decide, like, okay, I want to clean up then? Like, did you continue drinking when you moved here in Hawaii?
So,
if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, so no, I mean, I am a open book, sir. I have no problem talking about, especially this part of my life, because
this is inspiring to a lot of people.
Well, you know what? It's something that needs to be talked about openly, and you know, even if I'm not anybody that the public, you know, the general public knows about one day, or you know, whatever. But whoever does know me, I hope that I hope that I do inspire in some way to show that there can be change, because I know I did a lot of messed up shit, and I know that I was a really broken individual, and I've been addressing that, you know, but it didn't happen when I first got here, you know. I thought moving to fucking Hawaii, of course, I was gonna go live with my dad, first off. Moving back in with my father, who I didn't have much of a relationship with, you know, it was very scattered for a long time.
Because he also got excommunicated.
He did, and then he was, and then he divorce, and, you know, and then custody battle, and all kinds of crazy stuff, and so I didn't end up seeing him for a solid, 7 years, and then came out here and visited for 2 weeks, then back and forth, you know, visiting until I moved here, right? But moving back in with him, being a complete alcoholic at the time, like drinking all of my, like throughout the day, every day, from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed.
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking like at least, between a flask and a fifth, depending on what other things I consumed, with it, beers and mixing and so on and so forth, but a lot of alcohol all the time. And, yeah, gross, I know. But, nonetheless, I actually started hiding it, right? I didn't know how to even address any of it. I got here, I started working with my dad in construction, like 40 hours a week. So I went from being a paid, nightlife promoter 4 nights a week and a daytime server, right, in LA, West Hollywood, and all that craziness to living in a 16 by 20 house. My dad, with my dad's stepmom and little sister, and 2 dogs and 3 cats. Well, actually, it was 3 dogs and 3 cats at the time. One passed away, sadly.
Aww.
And being a complete drunk and having to go do construction labor. For 6 months, I ended up being like that. Before I had an infection. I ended up finding out it was called cellulitis. It entered in through cracks in my skin that were caused by eczema that wouldn't go away because of how much I was drinking. The infection wouldn't go away. The antibiotics obviously weren't working because I was fucking drinking. I tried to slow down. Tried. I'm like, beer is okay with antibiotics, right? 6 of them or so.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I was like, no.
Maybe 1.
No, none of it was good, man. It was gnarly, and so I ended up like in the hospital, and I couldn't fucking work. I couldn't do anything. I was so sick, and I remember the doctor, asking me like I was just finally like given up. Even though I had work, even though I was living with family, even though whatever, like internally I had given up. I had nothing else left within me. I never felt okay. Like, it was painful. It was extremely painful. No matter how much I drank, like, I was throwing up in the morning, like, purposefully. I had to clear my stomach first thing in the morning, right? Take my first shot, throw up, so I could start drinking again. Like, otherwise I would, something about throwing up triggers a whatever, I think it's a slight raise of adrenaline in your body. And it gives this, like, weird, I don't know, it's a weird, stupid thing. It's a really fucking stupid thing, but I, like, literally, like, that's how numb I was trying to get, and it was because I had gone through so much fucking pain and loss, and I didn't know how to deal with it, and the music, I had, like, lost sight of music and what it was to me, and that was part of it, and just all this other, kind of trauma that I had not addressed too. And anyway, I was finally able to be honest about it and like tell the doctor how much I had fucking drank a day. Like, how many drinks per week, per day? 12. 12 drinks a day. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. 12 to 17 something. And he's like, do you want to stop? And I said, yeah, I do. I really do. Like, I wanted to stop. I just didn't know how the fuck to stop. And so he's like, okay, well, go, find a meeting. And then here's a prescription. And what this is to help with the anxiety essentially coming off of it, right? Yeah. And he's like, it was a detox. Yeah, so it was like you take this many per hour first day, and then second day you do less, and then third day. And then I think at the end of 5 days or something, or a week, I was done, I think, with them in 3 days, and then I kept the leftovers just in case of like a random anxiety attack. Anyway, that was a year ago, over a year ago. May 18th was 1 year of no longer drinking alcohol.
And so would you say, like, being in the hospital, having that doctor talking to him like that was like, and I'm just asking because, like, I know people always talk about, like, a bottom.
The bottom for me was essentially like,
because I know it's hard for everyone.
It's hard to explain, yeah, and it's kind of hard to explain. You know, some people you say what it was about their situation, their physical situation. I mean, physically, my body was saying, you're not going to get better unless something changes,
like,
right?
you're going to die.
Like, this infection was traveling up my arm. My arm was swollen to twice the size it was. I couldn't move it. It was in, like, extreme... Look up cellulitis, and most people get it in their legs, but you can get... Yeah, nasty thing. And I couldn't work. I couldn't grab it. I couldn't sleep at night, man. Even if I wasn't in pain, my sleep was like, I would have this... lucid dreams, but like in a very bad way. And the only way that I could numb myself out enough was if I had a fucking bottle next to my bed. And when I didn't have a bottle, I was popping my warm beer, whatever I had, like, you know, or anything, you know. And by the end I was drinking the fucking cheapest vodka I could scrounge change for, you know. Like, that was my bottom. That was my bottom.
But then, come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
You're a year later.
Mm-hmm.
You're healthy. You're happy. You're inspiring people. You've inspired me. I don't know if I've ever had a problem with alcohol. I've never had anyone tell me that. But for me, you know, having you, Ryan, Nikki, Nico, Leandro doesn't drink. But just, like, being like, there's no need for it. Like, why? Like, what am I getting out of this? What's the benefit? What is this doing? Why do I feel like this is even necessary? And looking at analyzing those feelings and being like, oh, this isn't. You know, and, like, coming to terms and realizing that. And just for me as an individual, everyone's different. I don't want to speak for anyone or make any blanket statements or anything like that. But.
Yeah, the craziness is, if anyone listening to this, if you ever feel like it is insurmountable, or if it feels like something like you wish you could stop, but you feel like you can't stop, there is hope, because it can happen. I'm telling you this because I've found a way, you know. Everyone's different. Mm-hmm. Everyone's methods, everyone's life, everyone's feelings are different. You know, my boyfriend is also, he's today's Saturday. On a year. Yeah, on Monday, 2 days from now, right? He will, on June 1st, we'll have 1 year. And me and him have, like, being able to achieve that and being in a relationship together, because when we met, he had 3 days and I had 2 weeks. And that was, like, our beginning, right? That's a whole nother, like, story for another time. Yeah. Maybe when you interview him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'd love to do an interview with Ryan.
Or a podcast. I'm like, that's not it. Yeah. Whatever. I'm like, we haven't really.
It's something that I like to do that no one listens to. That's the way I look at it.
I love it. Hey, enough people. But having, I just want to say real quick about him, and that, you know, being able to go through all of that, like having a relationship, first off, a working, loving, functioning, beautiful relationship that doesn't involve fighting. You know, it doesn't involve, like, there has been, I mean, I can count on a single hand, right, you know, of occasions in the last almost year of us knowing each other where we've had any kind of anything, because, yeah, accepting, first off, being able to just accept, be humble, and be willing to listen, mm-hmm. and be willing to grow. You know, like, those are all the things. Like, I always had something I felt like I needed to hide, or some facade I had to put up that said I was okay, that I got this. And, like, that was all I had to say to start this whole thing, and all I've had to do this whole fucking time to make this work is when I feel like I don't have it, when I feel like I don't have enough, I say it to somebody.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a human being, even if it's a fucking universe, my higher power, which exists because of music, because of what I do, because of what I love doing, because of what I see the magic in that, and how my love for that, how it's reflected in everything that is around me and touches every aspect of my life. Like, that is part of all of it,
Not only that, but if you're someone that, if you don't hear live music and you don't get chills, like, whether it's a COVID concert, you're fine, a COVID concert of, with, you playing in our living room with, like, 6 people watching, maybe even 4.
Yeah, it was like 4 people at a distance.
Yeah, I know, we were all good, but, whether it's that, or whether it's at, like, a bar, or at a festival, or your local concert hall, or wherever it have it be, if you don't hear live music, especially music that you love, and you don't get chills, or you don't get a welling inside of you, that's totally fine. I'm just saying they're missing out. Because that's the one thing I love about listening to live music, and especially like when Lahikilo did their open mic, is just how the variety you got, and just, it's almost like you're peering into someone's soul in a way. Like,
yeah.
And you said something about like hypnotizing almost in a way, and it's interesting because I feel like that's what it is. It's like artists, whether it be through painting, music, comedy, whatever, when they're on a stage or performing, they're playing with the vibrations. They're not in a bad way, but like they're like, it's almost like a manipulation of wavelengths.
Well,
in
and
a way.
it can affect you like to your very, like, when people say it hits me in my very core, it literally, like, the vibrations do hit your very core.
Yeah.
Right? And, they affect people differently, and they bring back different memories for people, emotional responses, whatever. Even if it's my original song, something that I'm singing you that I wrote, right? The words, or even just the tonality of my voice, or even just the overall feeling of whatever that I put across, what it means to me, being transferred into that song, because it's like the memory of me singing it, and each time I've sang it is like a catalog of my story, myself, the growth of the song, the growth of me, right? That all comes across, and people feel react to it differently, but it really is magical, and it's like something I love to be able to share. I love to be able to experience myself, like, oh my god, the best feelings. I love going to live shows and listening to people, and there's so many magical artists, especially here on this island.
Oh my god.
And I've fortunately met so many like amazing artists along the way too, and most of them end up here at some point or another, because like this place just draws the people that feel the magic. This place is magical, and that's why I love California is like my mirror. It's a mirror of myself, it's a reflection for sure of, like, across the ocean, of my youth, parts of my youth that were beautiful, parts that were hard, and then kind of like when I moved out here, it really was about kind of facing the rest of my life, and my adulthood, and that's where I'm at now, and whatever, if you get to listen to me sing something, I hope, you obviously get to, but whoever else is listening.
No, I was gonna say real quick before we wrap up, one thing that I love is I love seeing the new evolution of your new song. And I love seeing it when you first performed it at the Kava Bar, to when you perform it at our house, to when now you're going to be recording soon this week on Thursday.
Yep.
So people have that to look forward to.
Shout out to Cuckoo House Studio and Bub Pratt for getting it set up for me, and my boyfriend for supporting it, and everybody else, all of you guys, for everybody that's going to be a part of it, because, you know, I want everybody that loves the music.
So check out Jaems Gusse on Instagram and Spotify.
Instagram, Spotify, SoundCloud. I just re-upped my Facebook. There's also a Facebook page, which is
got a YouTube as well.
YouTube as well.
Jaems Gusse as well.
Yeah. So if you just type in the first and last, you should be good. Jaems.
There we go, people. That is same ocean, different beach. We'll see you next week. And now some music by the great Jaems Gusse. Okay, now that I feel like I can do this. Did
you like it?
I like it. Do you have another one that you were
thinking?
Let me
give you one more I'm just going to have some fun with.
Okay, I'm down. I like fun.
Well, because I talked about the song I wrote when I was 5 years old, right?
Yeah. Do you still know it?
6 years old.
Do you still know it?
I do. But the thing is I didn't play the piano at the time.
What'd you play it on?
I didn't play it.
You just wrote it.
I just sang it.
Oh.
Yeah, I just sang it. I don't even know if I wrote it down because my writing probably wasn't that good, and it was probably too difficult to write at the age of 6. But nonetheless, it was I remember the lyrics. So and I remember the tune because it was pretty simple. It was from the morning light to the late afternoon. Baby, you got me through and through and through. Baby, I'm so glad that I met you or found you. Baby, I need. So anyway, that was like the original. So I was just fucking around with. From the morning light. So.
Heck yeah. I'm in it to win it, dude.
Okay. My nose is all stuffy.
It's probably the 4 cats.
Probably.
I know when Maku hair's all around, I get like. And I'm like, Leandro, you need to.
I know, and like not even a hot shower. I need to get some of that nasal stuff, I think. Maybe like a nutty pot.
My mom swears by that stuff. The bottle. Just make sure to use, I think it's like this distilled water.
Yeah, you get a thing of distilled water. Alright.
Okay. You ready?
From the morning light to the late afternoon, baby, you got me through and through and through. I'm so glad I found you, baby. From the morning light to the late afternoon, baby, you got me through and through. I'm so glad I found you. I